This is the meat-free day in Belgium, in Flanders. That's the northern part of Belgium. They speak Dutch, and they call the campaign Donderdag, which is Thursday, Vegedag. And so far, one local authority, the city of Ghent, they have decided that the Donderdags, the Thursdays, that's the vegetarian days. And that means that the default food, the normal food to serve that day in all public places is vegetarian food on all Thursdays.
Znači, u Belgiji, u pokrajini Flandrija, jedna okrug Gent je odlučio da će se četvrtkom na svim javnim mjestima servirati samo vegetarijanska hrana.
And if they would do this in the whole area of Flanders, northern Belgium, where they live about, I think, 5 million people, more or less like Croatia, they have estimated that they would save 1 million of CO2 emissions every year. 1 million tons, thank you.
Dakle, kad bi čitava Flandrija prihvatila takav model samo jednog dana, u tjednu vegetarijanskog, uštedjeli bi 1 milijunu tona CO2 godišnje.
1 million ton of carbon dioxide emissions less. That is equivalent to take away 500,000 cars from the streets.
To je ekvivalentno kao da maknete 500.000 auti sa ulice.
I don't know how many cars you have in Croatia. In my country we have 4.4 millions.
Ne znam koliko imate auti u Hrvatskoj, u Švedskoj imaju 4,4 milijuna.
But we have twice as many inhabitants as you are.
Ali dvostruko više stanovnika imaju.
Also we are a little bit richer, perhaps.
Možda smo malo bogatiji.
So I would say if you would have a Donderdag, Vegedag here in Croatia, perhaps you would take away the emissions from 30% of your cars, more or less.
Da, kad bi imali četvrtak vegi dan, onda bi 30% smanjili emisije. Kao, bilo bi ekvivalentno smanjenju od 30% ukupne emisije šovali.
It would really make a difference, and it's quite fun.
To bi napravilo stvarno neku razliku i vrlo je zabavno.
Well, I couldn't stop myself from showing this. This is from the cantina in the European Parliament.
Znači, ovo sam vam morao pokazati, ovo je iz kantine u Europskom parlamentu.
Myself and some other politicians had a small campaign that they should at least label the salads buffet.
Dakle, mi smo imali kampanju da u kantini barem stave znak da je to...
With the warning signs.
Znači, znakove upozorenja.
In case they put meat in the salad.
U slučaju da stave u salatu meso.
So, on this side, there is meat in the salad, on the other side, was purely vegetarian after our small campaign.
Je bilo meso u salati, a s druge ne.
That's a tiny victory in the European Parliament.
To je bila mala pobjeda.
I have 2 slides more, but I think I'm not going to show those because it's... Pardon?
Yeah, do it.
You think so? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll do it very quickly. I was stuck on the plane this morning to Zagreb, so I had time to just jot down the reports I know that say that we should eat less meat. And there are a lot of different reports from Sweden, from US, from United Nations, from all over, pointing at the same direction.
Postoje mnogo izvještaja o tome da treba smanjiti potrošnju mesa, a ovo je jedan.
And I can give, there are many more reports, but I can give this sheet to Animal Friends Croatia and you can publish it on your webpage.
Znači, postoji mnogo izvještaja, ali ovo mogu dati prijateljima.
Yes, we can.
Exactly. What I in particular think is interesting is that in Sweden, in my country, we had actually, like 15 years ago, it was a big movement for veganism, for animal rights, for vegetarianism.
Posebno mi je zanimljivo što je prije 15 godina u Švedskoj bio veliki pokret za prava životinja i vegetarijanstvo.
And that led to that the authorities, researchers at universities and so on, they started to study this phenomenon.
I državne institucije su počele istraživati taj fenomen.
And for instance, the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency came to the conclusion that the meat consumption should decrease with 75%.
Švedska agencija za zaštitu okoliša je rekla da bi se potrošnja mesa trebala smanjiti za 75%.
Milk with 25%.
A mlijeka za 25%.
If we wanted this sector to be more or less environmentally sustainable in the future.
Ako želimo da taj sektor bude ekološki održiv.
This summer we had new recommendations, and the Swedish National Food Administration and the same EPA, they came to the conclusion eat 40% less meat.
Ove ljeto smo imali ponovo jedan izvještaj i ovaj put se kaže da se treba jesti 40% manje mesa.
One can discuss why they say 75 there and 40% there, but what I think is interesting is that we actually have authorities daring to say that we must eat less meat, and that is a good start. For me as a politician, it's a very good start to have that.
Iako je ono brojka manja, zanimljivo je da čak javne institucije, političari govore da trebamo jesti manje mesa.
In the report from last year, the public and climate change from the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency, 47% of the Swedes, this was a poll they made, said that they were willing to reduce their meat consumption.
Znači, u 2008. U izvješću javnosti klimatske promjene stoji da 47% Šveđana želi smanjiti svoju potrošnju mesa kako bi smanjili utjecaj na okoliš.
That is also a pretty good start.
To je isto vrlo dobar početak.
That's me. Yeah. Thank you.
Hvala vam.
Should we take 10-15 minutes for questions?
Yes. Ćemo 15 minuta za pitanja.
Sorry for using a little bit more time than I should, but that's a fact.
Prosto što sam malo previdio trajati.
Dobro večer svima, da se predstavim, ja sam Elita Ziler, viša savjetnica u Ministarstvu zaštite okoliša, odjelu za zaštitu klime i ozonskog sloja.
So this is she's a representative at the Ministry of Environment. Yes.
Htjela bih se zahvaliti gospodinu na ovako zanimljivom predavanju. Naime, moj odjel se baš bavi dakle, klimatskim promjenama i kako zaštititi klimu i ovo je jedan od vrlo zanimljivog pristupa koji do sad nisam imala prilike čuti.
She would like to thank you, and her department works specifically on climate change. And this is one interesting approach to climate change.
Very good. Very good.
Da li postoje studije koje govore i o utjecaju na okolinu vezano za proizvodnju životinja koje se ne koriste za prehranu nego za krzna? Dakle, to je jedan segment, čini mi se, prilično veliki, koji vjerovatno ima jedan svoj određeni utjecaj u ovom energetskom dijelu što se tiče.
Are there any studies or reports on the environmental impact of breeding animals for fur?
That's a good question. Yeah. As for climate change effects, I'm not that sure. But I know that in Sweden I've seen studies, and I think I also seen from Denmark, about the fur breeding as a whole, its environmental impacts. For instance, what happens when you... my country is a big fur breeder. We kill 1.3 million minks.
Okay, so he said, on je rekao znači da ne postoji izvješća o utjecaju na klimu, ali postoje o ekološkom utjecaju općenito. Znači, i u Švedskoj znači postoji puno tih podataka. Švedska je velik proizvođač krzna i u njoj se ubije 1,3 milijuna kuna za krzno.
In one single farm, you can easily breed 50,000, 60,000 minks.
Na jednoj farmi se uzgaja 50 do 60 tisuća